Today's sponsor is 3D Bear, an amazing augmented reality programming app for the classroom. Join us next Wednesday, December 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Teaching with Augmented Reality webinar. Stay tuned at the end of the show to learn how to register. Episode 403, Strategies to Help Kids Love Reading.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
So today we are talking to third grade teacher Barb Gilman. Barb, one of your loves is helping young children love books. Where do you start in your classroom helping kids love to read?
Well, I love reading myself, and so I read the same books that my kids read, and so I feel comfortable sharing the books I read, and then what they're reading, I'll see it on their desk, and I'll say, oh, I love that book. Did you get to this part yet? And they say, don't spoil it, Mrs. Gilman.
So what kinds of books do you have available? Do you have a lot of books in your classroom? How does that work?
Yes, I have thousands of books. No, not that many. I have tons. I get so many books from Scholastics and I buy them myself. And what I have been doing is the 40 book challenge. Have you heard about that?
Tell everybody about it.
Well, it's started by one of my heroes, Donalyn Miller, and I encourage all of my students to read 40 books. And I also read 40 books. We just write them down in a notebook. I record it online on Goodreads. And what we do is we are just reading for fun. I really just love any books that they read. They can read graphic novels. They can read nonfiction, fiction. And at the end of the year, I take a picture with the kids. They all hold a little poster with their book number, how many they read. And last year with my 32 students, they read over 2,000 books.
Wow.
Yes, it was amazing. And I happened to meet Donalyn Miller this summer at a nerd camp, which is a ed camp for book lovers in Kansas. And I showed her the picture and she loved it. She said, thank you for celebrating all reading, because she noticed the child who read 200 books last year. And she also noticed the child who read 11. And we were just celebrating all reading in that picture.
Now, you do some other activities. What do you do in March?
Yes. My friend Nate Balcom, who's Mr. Balcom on Twitter, he lives in Grand Island, Nebraska. And about 4 years ago, he did a March Book Madness of books with his school. Well, 3 years ago, he broadened it to be Global March Book Madness. And I put up a gigantic grid just like the sports teams, and my students nominate books in February, and then in March we vote, and we vote online, and then each week it starts getting to the end. And I also help out all the teachers who participate in this global project. They can help in different ways, and the one way I do is I do a audio announcement using a tool called Anchor, and I just share the title and a little bit about it that I find on Amazon. And so it makes it a fun way. And with our digital tools, it's so easy for him to put this together. And he has thousands of kids that do this. It's mostly for kids 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. But he also has a book, picture book for the younger kids.
How much time do your students read every day in your classroom?
Well, I use guided reading, and that's a program where they're doing different activities. And we have the Daily 5 where they're reading and writing. So this year, my schedule has been opened up. We have a lot more time, and I have about an hour and a half every day for reading. So the students have a good 20, 30, even 40 minutes a day where they're reading. And when they're done with a subject, they're just always reading. And I just love seeing that. And then after they finish a book, they write it in their 40 book challenge book to record how they did. So it's just so great to see them reading. I also post, you might see this on my Twitter account, what I'm reading. I have a little chalkboard outside my door. And then I also have a chalkboard with I'm reading aloud to the children. So it's a very book-friendly classroom.
Oh, I love that, posting what I'm reading. I think I need to do that. I really love that.
I really love doing that as so the kids see what I'm reading. And sometimes they joke about, Mrs. Gilman, aren't you done with that book yet?
Now, you've been open and transparent about some challenges you've had with the content your kids were reading, particularly a conversation that you had with Franz Davis. What was that conversation and what did you do?
Oh, yes. Well, Franz, God bless her. She is just a fabulous teacher. And this past summer, that song, that Drake song, Kiki, do you love me, was just so popular. And I saw a lot of teachers are doing bulletin boards and they said, Kiki, are you reading? And so I took some of my book covers that are in my classroom and I posted it around there, and I posted it and I thought, oh, this is cute. I got a lot of good feedback on Instagram. Well, Franz just gave me this gentle reminder, please don't forget about book diversity in your books. And I was like, oh, thank you. And just this past summer, I bought more books because we do need diverse books. Children need to see themselves in the book. So I right away printed out some more book covers and put that around there. So, what a great community we have in our social media world where we can help each other.
And I love your transparency about it. And you also do a lot of stuff on Twitter now. What do you do with your Twitter account?
Well, I have one for my classroom, which is like an inside look of what we're reading, what we're doing. And I have my own personal account. And did you want me to share about matching my fingernail polish to my book?
Go ahead. I've not heard that. Tell us.
Oh, this is so funny. About a year and a half ago, I started this. A local friend was doing this. She loves to read too. And she started painting her nails and taking a picture of her holding the book cover. And she called it, matching my nails, my manicure to my book cover. So I started doing that. I think I'm up to 70 books. And I even have a hashtag book to look. And what's kind of fun is, an author works so hard on writing a book. And a year later, here's somebody in Nebraska posting a picture that they enjoyed this book. And it's been really fun to get feedback from an author.
Oh, yeah. That's and have an excuse to get a manicure, huh?
Well, actually, since I'm up to 73, I do it myself, and I buy the $1.99 nail polish.
Oh, okay. But still, we still like to get manicures, whether we with a teacher manicure. The teacher manicure is we buy our own polish.
Yes.
So for sure. Okay, so now tell us about what you're doing with your Twitter account.
Oh, I love connecting. I teach at a Catholic school. There's only another third grade classroom, and I get so many ideas from my personal learning network, my PLN. I've been able to connect with other classrooms. We had some mystery Skypes with other classrooms where they give us questions, and they try to figure out where we are, and we try to figure out where they are, and it's a great geography lesson with the class. This Friday, we have the Room 113 Bake Shop. And in third grade right now, we are adding numbers, 2 and 3 digit numbers. And so I made up a s'more flyer, and the people can tweet us and order a cake or cupcakes or cookies. And so I'm encouraging my parents that are following our Twitter account to tweet us their virtual order, and we'll tweet them back their virtual amount. And so it's a fun practice of using math and then our social media.
Awesome. Now there's one more thing we want to talk about. What is Saint Book Trek?
Yes, I started that last year with my Catholic Ed Chat friends. I just love the saints of the Catholic Church, and I've been noticing there's some picture books that have been coming out. Last year, one called Dearest Children by Eli Hernandez was written about Father Flanagan, who started Boys Town here in Nebraska. And I wanted to share his story. So I read it into my classroom, sent it on it went to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Illinois, Indiana, Washington State, and they read it and then sent it back. And the author happens to be here in Omaha, and he got to see all the comments from all the different classrooms that read this book. So he really enjoyed that. And this year we're going to do St. Junipero Sierra and Blessed Stanley Rother from Oklahoma and St. Ignatius of Loyola. So we've got a busy year ahead for that.
Well, Barb, thanks for sharing with us. And I love it that you've been teaching for 15 years. You're continuing to innovate. You're excited. I know your students have to be so excited. You're such a great example for a wonderful Classroom Wednesday because you can truly tell how deeply you believe and know how wonderful your classroom is and how you're making it a wonderful place for your students. Thanks, Barb.
Thank you.
3D Bear is a fun augmented reality app for the classroom. It links together augmented reality and me and my students. Augmented reality is a new tool for the classroom and needs new pedagogies. Join us Wednesday night, December 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern, as I co-moderate a panel of augmented reality teacher enthusiasts as we discuss the pedagogies of augmented reality in the classroom. To register, go to coolcatteacher.com/AR webinar and join us. Also, stay tuned for a blog post review of 3D Bear on the Cool Cat Teacher blog. So again, you can register at coolcatteacher.com/AR webinar. It's going to be fun. I hope you can join us.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.